all these rings on my finger. What's going on today, people? It's your boy, MrSsxtrixy, and I am back with another tech review. I know these has kind of been lacking. I've been on my snowboard trip, but we still got to get back to these tech reviews because I still like reviewing tech. And today, we are doing a comparison. I don't have individual reviews, at least for the Samsung Galaxy Ring I do. But for everything else, I have no individual reviews. All I kind of have this group review that I'm going to do. And that's mostly because I don't think, at least for me right now, I haven't seen a reason to kind of do individual reviews, especially because both of these products has kind of been out for a while. Today, we're going to be looking at the Oura Ring 4 and Ultrahuman Air, and kind of determining which one of these rings are best. Because we also got the Samsung Galaxy Ring, but we'll kind of explain later why that's not really in the comparison, but it is in the video. Start with a little introduction of the ring. So we have the Oura Ring 4, which is supposedly the gold standard for smart rings. And I have to say, I've been having a pretty good time with it. The sizing is pretty decent. It's not the best sizing if you have big hands, but it is a pretty good, decent sizing, especially with the Oura Ring 4, because with the 4, they introduced a size 14 and 15, which I needed a 14 in order to like rock it on the index finger or the adequate finger it's supposed to be on, or even just have the option to switch different fingers. Because the 13 was like, I can only rock it maybe on the pinky, and that's just not a good finger to put a ring on. Then we have the Ultrahuman Air ring. And that one, the sizing for big hands is really good. It's real, like, I actually like their sizing for like big hand. I currently have a 14 and it's realistically too big for my middle finger. So if you have big hands and you're looking for a small ring, we'll go into it later, but you kind of already see where I'm hinting at. And then the last one, which I do have a video on my channel about, was the Samsung ring. And they recently came out with a size 14 and 15, which kind of made me dip back into the toe because the 13 was way too tight. I just didn't like it. Taking it off and everything, it was a way too much of a hassle. So it was not the size I could recommend. So that's kind of the introduction. Let's kind of move on to why would you get a smart ring? So a smart ring is mostly for people who don't like to wear things on their wrist, or people who wants to be able to track their health but have the most minimalistic thing they can find. And to me, the smart ring can be stylish and minimalistic. So I think they're majority targeting people who wants to be able to track things like their sleep. They want to be able to track things like their light fitness workout, heart rate, you know, people who want to kind of get into the economics of tracking your health, your day-to-day health. I think these could work with that. You compare with a couple other apps, the rings are really good anytime when it comes to that. So if you're somebody who particularly don't like watches or the Whoop band or something on your wrist, these are really good, especially if you're used to already wearing rings. Like I did this and I was not used to wearing rings. I cannot tell you how irritating it's been for me to have to go from 0 rings to 3 rings. So if you've never wore a ring, this might not be the fit for you because this is a lot to get used to. But if you're married, it might be okay because you're already wearing a ring, so it might not bother you like that. So in that terms, then the ring could be for you. Let's kind of get into the app a little bit. So the app for all of these shows essentially the same thing. Now, I do have a Samsung smartwatch, but for this whole week, I have not worn it. I have not put it on. I've only been wearing the ring. So all the things you see from the apps, the data from day to day, this is all coming from the ring. For the Ultrahuman Air, the Samsung Galaxy Ring, and also the Oura Ring 4. All this data that's being displayed with the app is coming from the ring. I do think the Ultrahuman Air is great in terms of like it shows you the data, it's more streamlined, but I will have to kind of give it to the Oura Ring 4 in this case. It connected a lot faster in terms of when I pulled up the app, The data seemed like it went more seamlessly, but it wasn't like enough to like sway either way. If I had to go with it, I would probably go with the Air. And that's because, and we'll talk about this later on, during a workout, the Ultrahuman Air kind of didn't connect properly because it takes longer to connect to the app, and I didn't realize that. So I kind of missed some heart rate data on one of my workouts. But and the Ultra and the Oura Ring 4 kind of like seamlessly connected. So it was, I don't know, it was kind of better. But that could have been my fault because I didn't wait for the Ultra Ring to connect properly before I started the workout. So that's probably more my fault. But that is something to mention. So in terms of the app, the Samsung Health app, I'm just so used to it. I love that app more. I'm used to it because I'm used to my Galaxy Watch, so I'm used to seeing data and everything. And with the Samsung Galaxy Fold, which is the phone I have, it like splits it sometimes. So now you don't have to scroll down. It's kind of data. It really works for the ecosystem. So they kind of got an advantage in that case, at least in this perspective. So in that case, I would have to give it probably most likely, if I was to say which one was a better app, I would probably say Samsung Help. But I think all the apps for the most part are going to be very comparable to what anybody is most likely looking for. Okay, so now let's get into the fitness part of this. Right? Now, I am a big guy, and I know I mentioned that in a lot of my tech videos, but it's important to mention that because that's kind of what my channel is about, is viewing these as a perspective from a big guy. I think a lot of people, they view them and they say, oh, these are too big, but it's like they're viewing it from their perspective and their small wrist. I have big hands, big wrists, big fingers, so this is my perspective, right? From a fitness perspective, the Oura Ring and the Ultrahuman Air, or the Ultra Ring, are the best, without even a doubt. And this is where like the Samsung Ring just completely gets knocked out of the category. And I'll tell you why. So for the Oura Ring and the Ultrahuman Air, you can track heart rate monitors on any of those apps, whatever workout you're doing, right? You can do boxing, running, I did some racquetball, and no matter what I did, I was capable of tracking at least my heart rate. Couldn't do a lot, but at least track my heart rate. So I'll know if I'm like, am I working too hard, where I'm in that zone way too much? I'm not working hard enough. I need to kind of kick it up what I'm doing. It's a little help. I'm not saying it's the most accurate thing in the world. I'm not saying you could depend on it for like the most stable data, but some data is always better than nothing. And it gives you the ability to go, hey, do I need to work harder based on what I'm seeing? Do I need to kind of cool down because I'm doing way too much? And that's important when you're talking about fitness. The Samsung Galaxy Ring does not only tracks cycle, running, and walking. If it's not that, the Samsung Ring cannot track it. And that is where the Samsung Ring, to me, is just falling off. Because now, to me, it's being treated as an accessory to the watch, which wouldn't be a problem if it was like $100, $200. But the Samsung Galaxy Ring is $400. And every other ring that's in that price point is treated as its own thing. It's not treated as an accessory to something, to the watch, which is almost another $400 item you would have to purchase. So in that case, I just feel like the amenity you get when you're wearing the ring and the watch together, they're great. But you should be able to wear the ring independently from the watch and get those same amenities, or at least comparable to what other rings do. The Samsung is very capable of recording my heart rate during boxing or racquetball, and it just doesn't. And I think that's a complete miss, which I think that puts it completely out of the race for being $400 and not carrying the basic thing that the other two rings already have. When I'm doing the workout with the other two rings, they monitor my heart rate. And actually, the Oura Ring, I think here is going to win. And here's why. I was doing a lot of work around the house, moving a lot of stuff around, had to organize some things, organize some rooms. It took me like 3 hours to do that. The Oura tracked the housework as an actual workout because my heart rate got up. I was moving consistently for a period of time, and the Oura Ring, and it identifies it. Hey, is this housework? And I thought that was super amazing. Even when I was shoveling snow for my neighbors, even at that time, when I was walking and I worked for like 2 or 3 hours, the Oura Ring populated. Hey, is this yard work? It was able to pick up and remember, I'm using a blower, so I'm not walking, I'm using a blower, and it tracked the fact that I was outside moving. That has got, and I didn't start no workout with neither. The Ultrahuman Air didn't track any of that. Now, if you start a workout, it tracks it. Great. But if you don't, it it's not that great at tracking those automatic workouts where Oura Ring has basically shown that there's a reason why they king. So I mean, it's a lot of nice to have, and the Oura Ring had it. So I have to in fitness, it's the winner. It has to get the winning because of those. There are certain workouts that the ring are really great. Boxing is like it's one of those workouts where you have to put on gloves. And this right here, if you have a watch right here, that watch and that glove it just constantly contact irritates. I could not stand it when I was trying to box. I got to the point where I wanted a band where I could put it all the way up my sleeve. I could put it all the way up here. Box with the rings, it worked perfect. No problems. I was able to wrap my hand in everything upstairs, hit my bag, and it worked. For battery life, so I've been testing all three of these. The Samsung and the Oura Ring, they went the whole 7 days. The whole 7 days, and I think they were like 1-2% at that. And they had maybe Oura Ring did more workout trackouts than the Samsung because Samsung didn't pick any of those things up. And it's still going, right? So the battery life, I'll have to give it to the Oura because even though the Samsung has a better battery life, it has not tracked all the same equivalent of what the Oura Ring was tracking. It still have that battery life. So I kind of have to give credit where credit is due. For the chargers, I would say this is where the Samsung is probably the most outstanding because the Samsung gives you a portable charger. So if you move in or you travel a lot and you wearing a ring, just kind of track your daily stuff. The Samsung, if you anything outside of the 7 days, you don't even need to bring the charger and plug it up to a wall. That case just charges it and you're good to go. So I don't think the timing of charging really matters because this is one of the items where if it's dying and you're about to sit down, watch a TV or movie, you just plop it on, take it back off, and you're good for days. And if you do this almost every day, you'll stay 100% easy. It's not even the thought process. You don't even have to worry about it at night. You can get in the shower, which I always take mine off when I get in the shower because, I'd be afraid when you washing your hands and stuff like that, the soap makes it a lot more slipperier and potentially can get popped off, go down the drain. Now you're kind of screwed. So I do take mine off when I shower. And that's the moment you could just bloop, pop it on. You're doing your morning stuff, and before you walk out, boop, pop it back on. You probably got 25-30% more battery life, and now your day has started. So in terms of charging, they all are fine to me. All work great. The last category would have to be the category where the Oura Ring 4 is potentially the worst, which is subscription. The Ultrahuman Air does not require you to have a subscription. The Samsung does not require you to have a subscription. The Oura Ring does. To get to that data, you have to have their subscription. And it would be up to you to see if that $6 a month was worth it. Is it worth carrying that data? Is it worth doing all that? Do I think it's worth it? I would have to say yes. It's not necessarily honest. If you don't have the money to pay, you just want something, that I understand that. But if we were looking at the subscription and is it worth it? Yeah, I mean, all the other watches does track the same thing for free. And I couldn't tell you if Oura is doing potentially a lot better. You will see with the rest of the tracking that I've done, where it stays where I was at. And for the most part, the Samsung was probably the only one that was kind of off from the other ones, where the Ultrahuman Air and the Oura Ring were kind of in the same category. They were neck to neck, right there. So in that case, yeah, it's not worth it because the Ultrahuman Air is doing the exact same thing. But it has longer battery. The Oura Ring 4 has longer battery life. The ability to do automatic tracking is a lot more present than it is in Ultrahuman Air. The app is a little more drawn out than Ultrahuman Air. The Ultrahuman Air still kind of had a workout in a beta mode, so they can tell there's more to be done in that mode. And it's great that they are working on it and trying to perfect it. But that just means that they acknowledge that there's still more to do. Whereas Aura's like, we're doing this. All right, so what's my verdict? What ring would I recommend, right? If I had to say recommendation, which is all you're going to be paying, it would for surely be the Ultrahuman Air. That is hands down the ring to get when you just want to buy a ring, track your health, and have a good time. That's the ring to have. I will say, if you're willing to pay the subscription, I would recommend the Oura Ring 4. I think the app, because the app and the ability to track like those little movements, if you're super trying to get into it, I think that clearly is worth it. But here's what I just can't recommend without good faith. The Samsung Galaxy Ring. To me, it's an accessory to the watch, which means you have to spend equivalent of $600 to $800 to really take advantage of the Samsung Galaxy Ring. Even if you have a Samsung, I can't recommend it because it's not the best Android ring. It's just not. Not even if you have a Samsung, it's still not the best ring. It would be better for you to go outside of the ecosystem and use like something like Health Connect from Android to have everything kind of sharing data rather than being in Samsung ecosystem just to use the ring. I can't recommend it in good faith, right? But here is the real thing, right? Are these rings big fella approved, man? Are they big fella approved? And the Oura Ring and the Ultrahuman Air are for surely big fella approved. The Samsung Galaxy Ring, I don't know. And the reason for this is because I'm wearing the 14 and I had to peel to take it off. Like, so there's only one size up, which is the 15. And it will probably fit great on this finger. But the Oura Ring 4, look at that. Easy work. So I could technically probably go down a size if I wanted more of a snug fit. And the Ultrahuman Ring, it's without a doubt. It's on the middle finger and I can still get it off. So I could definitely go down a size on the Ultrahuman Air. That's why I'm like, I don't know about the Samsung. Like maybe if you got really large hands, it's a no. But in the other two cases, you can still go up in size and you'll still be able to get something that's equivalent to your index finger or your ring finger. The question is am I gonna be keeping? Well, clear, there's 3 rings. Which one am I keeping? I think I'm gonna keep the Oura Ring 4. If I was to keep one, that is the one I would keep. I just like the way, because I do a lot of work around my house. I try to fix up my house and everything. And I just like the ability to that automatic tracking. And you gotta remember, my Oura Ring is not gonna be my main way to track all my health. I also have a Samsung Galaxy Watch, I have an Apple Watch. And so I use watch to, for the most part, track my fitness. But when I'm doing something like boxing and I can't wear that watch, this ring comes in real good handy because I still can track whether, okay, I need to make sure I'm pushing more, push harder, and I can still track that workout on the ring instead of the watch. So in that terms, it's great because I get to still track certain workouts wearing watches that would be really difficult, where on the ring it's very easy. And then vice versa. On the ring, certain workouts would be very hard to track. Like if you're doing bench and stuff like that, you don't want your ring on to get scratched real easy. Versus your watch, it's a lot more good for that. So everything, every fitness item is usually have something they're really good at, and it's something they're probably not equivalent for. So, and that's what it's up. Well, that is what I think. Tell me what y'all think. Have y'all ever tried these out? Do you want to try these out? Did this video help you? Do you see the perspective of the big man and how he has to think about stuff? He can't just think like everybody else. He got to think a little more unique. Comment below, like, dislike the video. Tell me why you dislike it if you dislike it. That would be really appreciated to help me grow and change my content. And until next time, I will see y'all later. Peace.